The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network.
These guys aren't playing around. It's time to put the books away and get in the room. It's time for Wrestling Recess. Now your hosts, Dyson Gould and Dom Deputy. PA Power Wrestling. Pennsylvania is wrestling.
What's up, guys? This is Dominic Deputy back here for another episode of PA Power Wrestling Recess. My guest today will be two-time PIAA state champion Gaige Garcia. What's up, Gaige?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. So I'm going to get right into the main topic of the world right now. How do you feel about all these big wrestling events being canceled due to this COVID-19 outbreak?
My heart goes out to the collegiate wrestlers for sure. Wrestling all year long and not being able to participate in a national tournament. It sucks. You train all year for it. It's not even just all year. It's a lifetime. You're not like a lot of kids. Like we'll use Vincenzo Joseph for an example. He chance to be a 3-timer, not able to do that. You have Spencer Lee, could have been the next 4-timer. So, as the group as a whole, is very upsetting. I'm just glad that Pennsylvania was able to get their state tournament in when it did. But my heart goes out to all the wrestlers who were not able to participate.
How has this affected you as in working out and improving?
My gym got shut down, so we had to go to my uncle's little basement. It hasn't really affected me too much, but I've been able to still train pretty hard. So myself, it hasn't affected me too much.
Okay, so I want to get into your youth career. How did you get into the sport?
My dad wrestled, and then at a young age, my brother and I decided to wrestle, and then it just kind of went from there.
Did you play any other sports as a kid?
Yeah, just about everything. Soccer, football, baseball, wrestling, obviously.
Which one was your favorite?
Football.
Did you go into any clubs growing up wrestling?
Oh, yeah, a ton. The biggest club I probably went through, the club I went to most often was Cease's Basement Boys. I went to Bison Legend. I went up to Becca for a couple club practices. Oh, my God, all over the place to try to practice.
Who were your most great partners that you've had there?
The best partners, I say. At Bison Legend, I wrestled with the Hidley brothers and Gavin Hoffman. There's a lot of collegiate wrestlers that go to Bison Legend as well. Cease's, that's so long ago. Yeah, state champ like Nate Schoen went to Cease's. I'm trying to think of other guys. There's a bunch of solid kids going to the club. Nate Schoen was one I can think of. My brother as well. Preston Zachman went. So that type of group.
How much practice did you do at a club a week?
At Cease's, we went for a while there. We went almost every day. Bison Legend, I went about 3 times a week. Cease's, we did like a 2-hour all live session, like 3 times a week. So we were getting a lot of wrestling in.
Did you wrestle any freestyle or Greco?
Nope, not an ounce of it. A little bit here in practice, kind of just messing around, but I've never wrestled freestyle or Greco.
When did you start to develop your style?
Oh, geez. I've been doing the same thing since I was 6 years old. Same lefty sweep, same bar and a one-on-one. Just as the years went on, I kind of developed them and been able to make them as pristine as possible.
Can you talk a little bit about your success early on? After talking to Gavin at the state tournament, he gave a lot of credit to your father.
Yeah, absolutely. When we were growing up in elementary school and wrestling in all these tournaments, he took us everywhere to practice, everywhere to get better, or showing us what to do. So at a young age, I think we were so much ahead of people just because of what he was able to do with us.
Did you ever get nervous going into like state tournaments or anything?
Absolutely. You always get nervous. Wrestling's a very mental sport, and nerves are part of it. You try to be as least nervous as possible, but it doesn't matter who you're wrestling. You're always nervous. I actually get more nervous like these past couple of years of how I was able to pin the kid and was I going to be able to pin him quick enough and stuff like that. But nerves are definitely a factor.
How did you, when you would get nervous, how did you handle it?
It sounds so stupid, but deep breaths, just taking a drink of water and things like that, just trying to calm yourself down. If you're nervous, you're going to be more tired for your match. So you got to be able to stay calm and wrestle. What
is something you wish you would have done differently as a kid early on?
Differently? Maybe, I don't know, maybe did a little bit more freestyle or Greco, possibly. Our training was pretty good as a kid, so I can't complain about that. I was learning a lot of moves. I can't complain about that. So probably the freestyle and Greco aspect of it. What
is the main thing about your youth career that you are really proud of?
The main thing about my youth career, I don't even know how many PJW state titles I won. I think I lost like less than 5 times in my youth career, so that was probably the best part of it.
Now on to your high school career at Southern Columbia. Who's your main practice partner right now? I know you probably used to train with Preston Zachman.
Yep. Yeah, he used to be my training partner last year. This year I went with Lear Quinton and Max Killett.
What kind of relationship do you have with your teammates and coaches?
My coaches, they're like second parents to me. They get to experience a lot in wrestling, a lot of ups and downs. I said this in my one speech before about how my coach, freshman and sophomore year, he was out crying in the hallway with me. And then 2 years later, we're smiling with joy because I was state champ. So my coaches and I have a very special bond. And then as a teammate, I want the best for my teammates. I have their backs. I kind of took the leadership role on the team and tried to influence the guys to believe in themselves. And, they can be good. You know what I mean? They can win as well. So, I kind of led by example, used a little bit of motivation as well. But I was very close with the guys.
Can you talk about your team's success over the years? You guys have placed top 2 or 3 over the last couple of years, I think. Correct?
Yeah. Like I said, it's that winning mentality. You see someone else win, you want to win. You want to be able to do that. Hey, if this guy can do it, so can I. So, we've been able to do that. More and more kids have been entering into the program, or not entering, but wanting to wrestle, wanting to be more involved, and actually going out there and practicing, putting the work in to be able to be a top-tier team in the state. A lot of guys have, like I said, been working, and, it's been showing. The guys really want to win, and, I think the trophies and where we placed have said so.
Last year, this past state team duels, you actually beat my high school in the semifinals, Chestnut Ridge.
Yeah, that's a tough group of guys. It's always very close matchups. I think we wrestled Chestnut Ridge the past 3 years in the semifinals. So it's always a very tough match. It's a great group of kids. They're tough nosed, and they always are going to give us all we can handle.
Now, going back to your freshman and sophomore year, how did you mentally get over your losses and come back better than ever and win it?
Your losses motivate you, whether you know it or not. They may suck at the time. I said I have 6 losses in my career, and I can name them all in about 5 seconds. I can't tell you who I beat my freshman, sophomore, junior, senior year. I can't even tell you the names of those kids, but I can tell you all the losses. And the biggest loss that I think haunts me is my sophomore year in the state semifinals. I was in deep about 10 times and just couldn't finish the shot. And, I kind of took that as, come on, I can't make the state finals because I couldn't finish the shot. So, I put more hard work in. I developed more moves and tried to develop a way to finish my shot. And I kind of went from there.
Was there any pressure on you this year, being that you were the returning state champ?
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone thinks that, I won as a junior, you'll be able to repeat as a senior. Well, it's not that easy. This year I put more hard work in than I probably have ever before. I wanted to try to prove that I was the best, not just the best, but very dominating as well. So, I put a lot of hard work in at the beginning of the season, coming off football and, being able to pin most of my guys, and try to dominate on the mat.
How has wrestling helped you in football over the years?
The biggest thing is probably the mental aspect of it. When they say once you wrestled, everything in life is easy. I truly believe that wrestling is so mentally and physically draining that every other sport you do, it kind of helps you and kind of guides you. It also helps with your agility and quickness as well, being able to cut and things like that. Moving the kid going in on a quick shot, that's able to have that quick reaction time that can help you on the football field as well. Can
you talk a little bit about why you chose Michigan?
I went up there for a football camp, and they offered me for football, and then they offered me, or they said, why don't you try wrestling as well? And I was like, are you kidding me? I didn't think that could even be possible. And that was something that I always had in the back of my head, but I still don't even know how it's really going to work out. But, that was a big thing for me. And, when I was up there, it was kind of like a family, very close group of guys, very welcoming. Coach Harbaugh took me to his parents' house and things like that. We went out to eat after. So, they were very welcoming, and they made it seem like family, which was huge for me.
Are you planning on redshirting, or just want to get right after it?
As of now, I would like to redshirt. That's probably what the best bet for me. I would like to have a year under my belt at the university and under each team. So
you're going football and wrestling. Do you have any plan at all on how you're going to handle both sports and academics?
I do not, to be honest. But yeah, our coaches are going to have to work it out. I'm going to be able to have to do a lot of stuff on my own because I think I only get like 20 hours per week with a coach. So, I'll probably have to be coming late into the season for wrestling, but I'm sure I'll be able to, after football practice and things like that, be able to go in the wrestling room. So that's going to be something that we'll be able to figure out in the near future.
What other college offers did you get from what schools?
For football, I had like the Ivy Leagues. I had Army, Navy, Air Force, all the Patriot League. I can't even think. It was like close to 40 offers for football, and then wrestling. I had a lot as well. A lot of the Big Ten schools, Pac-12, ACC. So I had a variety of choices.
Now, I just got a couple random questions for you. What was your favorite college growing up?
Favorite college growing up, I would have to say it was Penn State.
Is there any reason behind that, or did you just like their domination?
I don't know if I would necessarily say a domination, but they were very close. They're only an hour and a half for me. A lot of people I grew up around like Penn State, so I kind of just fell in their shoes.
Who was your favorite wrestler?
Probably David Taylor.
What advice would you give a wrestler who is just starting?
Always put in the extra work, do stuff behind the scenes that no one else sees. That's huge. Hard work, dedication. It sounds so cliche, but in the end, it will make you be a champion. You got to dream and you got to believe in yourself.
What advice would you give parents who are struggling to get their kids to fall in love with the sport?
I would say give it time. The wrestling is a very growing start. My youngest brother right now, he actually quit wrestling for 2 years. It kind of killed me on the inside, not wrestling, but, that was his choice. He played basketball this year, but my parents didn't pressure him. They just kind of let him be, and now next year he wants to wrestle again. I think seeing success from kids at your school, at your high school, being able to win a state title, that's a great feeling. I know when I was a younger kid going down to Hershey and seeing someone I knew win a state title, it was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I wish I could do that. And then turning that into a reality a few years later. So my biggest advice is definitely don't pressure your kid. If he wants to do it, he'll be able to do it. Wrestling isn't a sport that you can do and not be able to like.
What are your thoughts on cutting weight as a kid?
I wouldn't cut too much weight. I mean, that just makes it growing as well. If you want to drop like a pound or two, or depending on the circumstance, depending what weight class you're in. I'm not a huge weight cutter. I've never really done it in my entire life. I feel like you feel the best at the weight you're at without cutting weight. So I'm not a huge weight cutter.
Well, Gaige, that's all I got for you today. I had a blast and hope you did too. Hopefully you can come on again with me sometime.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
See ya.
See ya.